Hello, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, a 27-year veteran of the NYPD. A young man in South Carolina was the victim of sort of a set-up love triangle that involved his girlfriend setting him up to be shot and killed. This is a disturbing case. A teenage South Carolina boy was fatally shot, and police say a love triangle was behind it. Trey Dean Wright, who you see in this picture on the screen, was allegedly lured to a desolate area by his girlfriend before being gunned down by a romantic rival, and it was all captured on video. A romantic rivalry over a female ended in tragedy when Wright Raper, 19, allegedly shot and killed Trey Dean Wright, 16 years old, say the police. Wright was allegedly lured to a rural road by his girlfriend, where he was met by a group of teens who were waiting for him. 9 teens have been arrested in connection with this fatal shooting. So this 16-year-old boy who you see up on the screen shot over a romantic rivalry, and now authorities have arrested 9 teenagers, including his girlfriend, in connection with his death. One of the teens who was present at the scene allegedly filmed Trey Dean Wright, 16, of Johnsonville, getting shot. The alleged crime took place on June 24th at about 11:30 p.m. when Florence County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to a call about a shooting on First Neck Road near Johnsonville. There they found Wright lying in the road with multiple gunshot wounds. Wright was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. On June 25th, deputies arrested Wright Raper, 19 years old, of Conway. That's him on the right there. Of suspicion of shooting and killing Wright during a verbal altercation in Johnsonville, which is about 50 miles northwest of Myrtle Beach, according to the sheriff's office. Raper is charged with murder and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, according to the sheriff's office. Disturbing situation, especially since it involves just young kids, teenagers, very disturbing. Anyway, folks, hold on to your hats, hold on to your loved ones, hold on to your service dog. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the Off the Cuff Zone, the Police Off the Cuff Zone. There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
And now a word from our sponsor, FanDuel on the Believe Network. Is a legal and regulated online sports betting platform operating in the United States. It allows users to bet real money on the outcomes of sports events across major leagues such as the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, and more. FanDuel also offers daily fantasy sports and online casino games in certain states. What FanDuel offers: sportsbook, bet on sports games and player props. Daily fantasy sports, draft a lineup under a salary cap and win based on player performance. Casino, online slots, blackjack, roulette in selected states. And live betting, place bets in real time during games. FanDuel, the new sponsor of Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. So this is I'm going to hear from News Nation, from Brian Enton, about what they're saying about this case, but extremely disturbing. I find it really even more disturbing, the fact that someone videotaped this. That's really pretty sick when people videotape a shooting.
All right, so it was around 11:30 p.m., June 24th, when Florence County deputies got the call. A shooting on a rural road near Johnsonville, South Carolina. When officers arrived, they found 16-year-old Trey Wright lying in the middle of the road, shot multiple times, twice in the chest, and barely clinging to life. Trey was a rising sophomore at Johnsonville High. He played varsity football, varsity baseball. He rode dirt bikes. He was just 16 years old. He was rushed to the hospital but sadly did not survive. And Trey's death might have been written off as another small town mystery, but then there was video and photos that surfaced. And police say they now know Trey was lured to his death in a calculated plot allegedly set up by his own girlfriend. They say she brought another boy, her other romantic interest, to that country road where a group of teens then actually filmed the showdown. That's how they had the video of this whole thing. You see the photos there. 19-year-old Devin Raper, who had already allegedly flashed a gun at Trey before, argued with him over the girl until it ended in gunfire. And the next day, police ended up arresting Raper. You see the mugshot, charged with murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. And then 5 days later, Trey's girlfriend, 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher, this girl here, she was arrested too. She was charged with accessory before the fact. Investigators say she drove Raper to the scene, knowing that he was armed and knowing, quote, that there would be a confrontation likely to lead to death. At Raper's first court appearance, he tried to argue his case to the judge. Listen to this.
I did not do none of this. There was 4 more people.
I'm not here to try.
I understand that.
I'm not here to try your case, but you can speak to law enforcement and you can also talk.
So he was trying to say, you're not supposed to say those sort of things at your first appearance, by the way. You're just supposed to stay quiet. But the judge obviously didn't want to hear it. Over the next few weeks, those other people started to materialize. 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, these are all the mugs here. 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, 18-year-old Corinne Belviso, all charged as adults.
So you see, folks, with those young people all going to be charged as adults, only one person pulled the trigger, but the other folks did what's considered acting in concert and doing almost anything to facilitate the crime of murder, to help Devin Raper, who's being charged as the shooter, as you can see him on the screen with those mugshots. And there are 4 additional people being charged, but their mugshots, of course, are not on the screen because they're juveniles. So the top 5 people are being charged as adults, but the bottom 4, their pictures aren't there because they're too young to be charged for this case as an adult.
Under South Carolina law for allegedly setting up this murder. 4 others too, they're too young to name. They were also charged. That's why the names and the mug pictures aren't there, though. But look at all of these young people. Wow, their lives pretty much ruined now. Florence County Sheriff's Office says they expect a 10th suspect. There's going to be a 10th suspect who is expected to turn themselves in soon. So we will stay on top of that story. But apparently the police have video to prove all of this. Thank you.
So a 10th suspect, young kids, young juveniles have just all decided to destroy their lives by doing something that is this stupid. Look at all these young people, you know. What could they have been thinking of in the way of thinking they're going to get away with this, thinking that this is a good idea? And how about the genius that videotaped it? How about him? What is his story? Is this part and parcel of the times we are living in? That people think it's a good idea to video murders? I mean, just unbelievable. Look how young these 5 are that are up on your screen right now, all being charged with murder. 1 pulled the trigger, but the other 4 are going to be charged with murder also. Maybe they don't understand that. Maybe they don't understand that their little part in luring this young man, Trey Wright, luring him to his death over a previous beef with this girl in this picture, his girlfriend, who was also involved with this, the shooter here, Devin Raper, 19 years old, 19. Here they are up on the screen. The 5 people that are being charged as adults in connection with the murder of Trey Wright: Devin Raper, Corinne Belviso, Sydney Kearns, Hunter Kendall, Gianna Kistenmacher. I mean, basically, when you think about this, if they get convicted, of course, they're innocent until proven guilty, as we always say. If they get convicted, they can be doing 25 years to life in prison. Was this worth it? What the hell were they thinking of? What were they thinking of? This is from WBTW News, a little snippet on this case.
Following the ongoing investigation into the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright, the Florence County Sheriff's Office said it's arrested 9 people so far. 2 posted bond earlier this afternoon. News 13 Shelby Martin is live in the newsroom. And Shelby, what can you tell us about these arrests?
Well, Edward, behind bars and without bond, Devin Raper was the first arrested for the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright after he was accused of shooting and killing the teen. On Tuesday, police charged 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, and 18-year-old Corinne Belviso with murder. Belviso and Kearns posted bond today. Gianna Kistenmacher, Trey's girlfriend, was the second person arrested. She's accused of leading Raper to Wright the night he died. The former cheerleader was released to home detention and cannot use the internet. We're told Belviso was also a member of Kistenmacher's cheerleading team. A close friend of Trey's told News 13 Belviso, Kearns, and Kendall were bystanders to the murder. Major Mike Nunn with the Florence County Sheriff's Office said the 9 people arrested in connection with Trey's death are all between the ages of 17 and 19 years old.
They were complicit in bringing the armed co-defendant Raper to the incident location, knowing that there would be a confrontation, and they knew that Raper had presented a firearm to the victim and had made threats to shoot him, according to the arrest warrants.
Nunn said 1 more person is expected to turn themselves in within the next few days. Now, according to officials, the decision to charge most of those defendants with murder was not taken lightly.
So the decision was made, again, with investigators in consultation with the solicitor's office, to charge each of them with murder, the hand of one being the hand of all, as part of South Carolina law as well. So that's the basis of the charge for each of those individuals.
Nunn told News 13 there is video evidence from the night of Trey's murder. Now, we've asked for the video, but we were not able to get it. Raper's next court appearance is set for August 19th. Live in the newsroom, Shelby Martin.
So, there you have it. 9 people arrested so far, and they expect a 10th. And when I put these 5 individuals, all being charged as adults, I'll actually put up another one as their names: Devin Raper, Corinne Belviso, Sydney Kearns, Hunter Kendall, and Gianna Kistenmacher. In addition, there are 4 other people being charged as juvenile. So there's 9, and then there's a 10th, and we're not sure what the age is of the 10th. If the 10th is over the age necessary to be charged as an adult, you'll have 6 individuals being charged as adults in this case. And I explained before something called acting in concert. And the major from the South Carolina police said something I had never heard of before, and it makes so much sense. Hand of one, hand of all. In essence, only one person is the shooter, but 9 other people helped facilitate what we call acting in concert in a crime like this, which enabled this crime to move forward, which enabled this horrific murder to take place, which enabled this 16-year-old boy, 16-year-old Trey Wright, who had been threatened before by this individual. It enabled him to lose his life, Trey Wright, at the hands of this boy here. Boy, he's 19 years old, and his name is Devin Raper. And he, according to the police, the girl who was the girlfriend also of Trey Wright, it was a love triangle, as they would call it. Her name is Gianna Kistenmacher. And apparently she set this whole thing up. She arranged it. And you know something, people may think, oh, is it really fair that they get charged as an adult? She didn't pull the trigger. She might as well have, right? Because she facilitated the murder of this young guy who was her boyfriend. Even worse, set it up. This is from Law and Crime.
Girl is under arrest in connection to a murder, but she's not the one who police say pulled the trigger. Police say she's the one who put a plan into motion that led to the death of this fellow teenager. And the alleged gunman, now in Jailhouse Orange, had quite the way with words on his social media. And he also tried to plead his case in court before the judge told him to stop. This is per WBTW.
I did not do none of this.
And what makes this story even more tragic is that apparently the alleged shooter and victim knew each other. And what took one life and potentially put another in prison for life, according to police, was all over a girl. And you will not believe the clues that social media may have left behind. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. Life to the fullest, according to his obituary. His high school posted this message saying that they were mourning the loss of one of their own. It didn't take long for police to find the person they say pulled the trigger and killed Trey Wright. Here he is, Devin Raper. He was arrested the next day. We found this picture of him on social media posted by someone who said they were close to Trey Wright. Then on June 30th, another arrest. The person who police say facilitated Trey's murder, here she is, 17-year-old Gianna Kistenmacher. She's facing a charge of accessory before the fact. It is shocking that a teenager would do what police say she did, and I'll tell you more about that in just a moment. But before we get into that connection, we have to talk about the connection that the alleged shooter had with the victim. We know that Trey and Devin Raper knew each other to at least some extent because we saw that they follow each other on TikTok. But these two apparently were not friends. The local sheriff told WBTW TV that Raper and Wright were at odds all over a girl. Both talked about girls a lot on social media, but hey, that is what teens do. This is Trey's final post on TikTok. It was just a couple days before his murder. It is a video of him with someone else. They're dancing on a dark road saying, quote, "I'm just a girl. No, you're the reason I wake up and smile every day." Raper also talked a lot about girls on his social media. This is a pic of him flipping the bird at the camera with the caption, quote, "I wish we never met. I wish you would have stopped giving me missed signals, but can you stop because I'm trying to get to know your friend right now." There's no proof at this point that the girl drama that police say led to the death of Trey Wright is related to those specific posts on TikTok, but it just gives you an idea of the conversations that they were having online. But let's talk about the 17-year-old girl who has been arrested, accused of facilitating all of this and causing so much pain and heartache for the family of Trey Wright. According to police, Kistenmacher, here's her mugshot once again, knew all the details of the boys being rivals about a female. Police say she drove Devin Raper to meet Trey Wright on the night of the murder, quote, knowing that Raper was armed and that there would be a confrontation for violence likely to lead to the death based on statements made in her presence. She is now in jail. Her bond has been denied according to local media reports. As for Devin Raper, here is video from WBTW of his first court appearance. He was denied bond, but he actually tried to speak up in court and talk to the judge and explain his case.
I did not do none of this. There was 4 more people.
All right, I'm not here to try.
I understand that.
I'm not here to try your case, but you can speak to law enforcement and you can also.
They won't.
Before we get back to this episode of On the Case, I need to take a break and talk about our partners at.
So again, here you have a bunch of knuckleheaded kids, right? Get into some really, when you think of it, meaningless, totally meaningless dispute. Like over what? Like someone's going to kill somebody over this girl here. Someone's going to lose their life over that, right? Gianna Kistenmacher. And then apparently she set the whole thing up. So she arranged it. She was fully complicit. And for that, for her efforts, she's going to be charged with murder too. So some of you folks out there that don't understand the law, acting in concert, you have to do the littlest thing to facilitate the crime. If someone else pulls a trigger, you can still be charged with murder. As this woman here, Gianna Kistenmacher, has learned very much the hard way. Go back to law and crime here.
He was arrested on a charge of being accessory after the fact to a felony or a murder. He was released from jail in November, and then those charges were dismissed in February, according to WBTW. Joining us now is criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Matt Mangino. Matt, thank you for taking the time, as always, to be with us on Law and Crime. This is a sad case, especially with the loss of Trey Wright.
So this is a ridiculous case when you think of youth and the stupidity of some of the things they do. And one of the things in this case I find the most stupid, the most ridiculous, is the moron who videotaped this, who taped this as it was happening. That moron should probably be charged with murder too, just for being so stupid, you know? I mean, just think of that. He's videoing a murder that he knows is just about to go down. It's just about to happen. So, let me videotape it, you know? Folks, this is Police Off the Cuff Real Crime Stories. If you like real crime, true crime from a police perspective, you're in the right place. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, like us, share us with your friends and family, and make lots of comments. FanDuel is a sponsor of Police Off the Cuff through Believe Network, and FanDuel is an American gambling company, offers sportsbook, daily fantasy sports, horse racing, and online casino services. Founded in Edinburgh, Scotland in 2009. It began as the news production site HubDub before transitioning to its current services. So that's FanDuel that sponsors Police Off the Cuff. So this case, where does it go next? Well, there's going to be a 10th person arrested in this case. So you already see there's 5, and there's 4 juveniles that are not seen on these mugshots. But there's going to be a number 10. What did number 10 do? At this point, I'm not sure, but we just be advised that there will be a 10th person arrested in this case. This is WBTW news from South Carolina. I'm going to play a snippet of this on the screen.
Have charged 3 more young people from Myrtle Beach in connection with the murder of Johnsonville teen Trey Wright back in June. Authorities have now charged 18-year-old Hunter Kendall, 17-year-old Sydney Kearns, and 18-year-old Corinne Belviso with murder in connection with the shooting death of Wright. Authorities say that Kendall has been in jail since last Thursday. Kearns was arrested yesterday and Belviso was arrested today. No information has been released on how deputies say they were involved in Wright's killing. Now, authorities added that on June 24th, Gianna Kistenmacher led Devin Raper to Johnsonville, where they say he shot and killed 16-year-old Wright. Raper faces a murder charge. He's in jail without bond. Kistenmacher is charged as an accessory. She was recently released on bond. Florence County Sheriff T.J. Joy spoke to News 13 today about youth violence and what law enforcement plans to do about it.
Listen, this day and age, we're going to put a stop to this stuff. That's like in schools. Florence County, we're not tolerating. Bottom line. You better keep your kids at home. You better raise them as parents. I'm not tolerating it. I've said that all along. Just got a call a little while ago about 6 fighting at a certain school, and we're going to lock them up.
And you can read much more.
So it's such a horrific thing, but this doesn't just happen in South Carolina. This happens at every town USA, every city USA. And what is it? Is it the access to firearms, or is it the access to stupidity and brainlessness? You know, now we have 5 young kids right here that are going to be charged as adults with murder and could potentially be sentenced to 25 years to life. Clearly, Devin Raper, who is allegedly the shooter, there's probably numerous witnesses of him shooting the victim, I don't know what he thought he was going to argue in court with the judge when there's videotape of him shooting Trey Wright. How was he thinking he was going to argue this during his arraignment? Not the brightest bulb, right? And of course, we have the girlfriend, Jana Kistenmacher, who apparently set this whole thing up. So she is going to be charged with murder too, and she may be looked at by the judge and the jury and the prosecutor as the protagonist behind this, or the antagonist, as the one that set this up, and the one that probably, if she had a half a brain, could have stopped it. But yet, that wasn't what was on her mind. What was on her mind was seeing this happen in this alleged love triangle where these 5 individuals will be charged as adults in Florence County, South Carolina: Devin Raper, Corrine Belviso, Sidney Kearns, Hunter Kendall, and Jana Kistenmacher. All on your screen right now if you're watching this and not just listening to it. Just a horrific waste of life, this young man. Trey Wright, 16 years old, had everything to live for, and stupidity and a gun and an idiot that pulled the trigger have taken his life. And we can't make light of this because this happens in every town and city in this country, across this great country. And you can blame it on firearms if you want. But, if a firearm wasn't used in a case like this, he may have used a knife, Behind this really is what we can do the next time to prevent something like this. Education, getting these kids before they get too stupid. And as I said, and I keep repeating this, the moron that videoed this, that recorded this, I almost feel there should be a special crime for him for having the callousness and the utmost stupidity to videotape a murder, we say videotape, to tape it on your phone. Just absolutely horrific. So, folks, that's the story we have today. And unfortunately, it involves the murder of 16-year-old Trey Wright in South Carolina. And the case is just getting started. And so far, there are 9 people arrested. And we're waiting because there will be a 10th. We're told there will be a 10th coming this week. So I'm Bill Cannon from Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone, and God bless.
One episode just ain't enough.